maybe some people have been accessing pornographic literature. Yeah, that is another thing about the future. Today we have access to things that are very good for us, information that will do us a lot of good. We can learn a lot of things, but we can also have access to the worst of information, which will make us not good citizens but bad citizens. For example, today we hear so much about cases of rape, buang anak dan sebagainya. Partly I think it is because you are looking at the pornography in the computer. You access this pornography and maybe you get very excited and then you commit things that you would never dream of committing before. When I was a small boy, I couldn't access this thing. It's all, banned by the government. All publications that are pornographic cannot come into Malaysia. We have custom people who examine all the mails coming in to find out whether there is any unwanted literature, and they will stop it, confiscate it, and even charge you. But today, governments cannot stop. Governments cannot stop you from accessing filth coming through the computer. So that computer can give you good information. It can also give you bad information. Now, supposing in the future somebody begins to preach some ideology through the computer, and in one day many of us spend about 5 hours on the computer, and we hear this preaching, maybe preaching some other version of our religion. We may be taken up, we may be influenced, and we don't know how far we can resist, how strong our belief, our faith is. Iman akan terancam kerana terdedah kepada informasi yang datang melalui komputer. Now, how do you manage this? After 2020, this is going to be very easily available to our people, to our young people. Their minds are going to be influenced by what is coming from outside. Governments cannot stop. This is the future. We are already seeing this future today, but in future it's going to be worse. How do we plan to counter this? That is, of course, for future prime ministers of Malaysia to worry. As I said, I don't have to worry. I'll be somewhere down there. So this is the scenario that will influence the situation, our lives beyond 2020. The technology will change things in many ways. I was told recently that a man discovered an island in the Pacific Ocean. The island is made up entirely of plastic material. Plastic bottle, plastic sheets, plastic containers, plastic. Because when you throw your plastic bottle of waste into the river, a lot of it will go to sea. When it reaches the sea, it is carried by the sea currents, and finally it begins to collect more and more and more will be carried by the sea currents until it meets more plastic material floating in the sea. And over the years, imagine the amount of plastic that we throw into the river. Not all will go to the sea, but even if 1/10 of that or 1/20 of that goes into the sea and it's moved by the currents and collects in one place in the sea, you are going to have an island that is made of plastic. We don't know, it can be very, very big, it can be very, very deep. Now over time, this is going to affect life in the sea, the fishes and the other creatures that you find in the sea. And we depend upon the sea to get fish for our food. Now, supposing there are thousands of these islands of plastic in the sea, that's going to affect our life. Plastic is a fantastic material. It was developed after the war, and we thought this is a gift to humanity. Plastic water cannot go through plastic. It's not porous, and it lasts forever. And we thought this is fantastic, it lasts forever. Then we discovered that plastic cannot be got rid of. You cannot burn plastic. You burn, you get noxious gases, poison coming out. If you burn the islands of plastic, which can be maybe 50 miles wide, by 50 miles, if you burn the island of plastic, you're going to poison the whole atmosphere. You have already read in the papers about what happens when the volcano in Iceland spouted ash. You cannot even fly. But if you allow the plastics to be burned, because that's the way, one way to get rid of it, the whole atmosphere is going to be poisoned with poisonous gases. Because there is no other way of getting rid of plastic. If you bury it in the ground, that's not a solution. Because in the end, you will have no space for you to live. You have to dig out the plastic if you want to build a house where you have dumped plastic. And you're going to have a huge problem with plastic. But it is such a convenient thing. And we keep on using the plastic, not knowing what to do with the waste. If you throw it on the ground, it doesn't rot. It remains there on the ground. If you burn it, you get poison gases. Until now, of course, we have not really focused on how to get rid of plastic, or more importantly, how not to use plastics, or to develop biodegradable plastic. Maybe the scientists in Petronas University would focus on how to get rid of plastic. Until now, we don't know. But plastic is not just the only thing that we cannot get rid of. We are using nuclear material today. Now, nuclear material can be developed. You can convert uranium into radioactive uranium. But once you make radioactive uranium, you can't reverse the process. You cannot reverse the process. It will remain radioactive. The problem today with radioactive material is that when it becomes waste, it still emits radio waves, which are harmful to us, which can give us cancer. In the past, of course, when I was Prime Minister,